Yo, my beautiful people. You know what time it is? It's your boy again, Shady One and Only. And today, guys, you're welcome back to my channel. And today, guys, we are going to dive into a Piers Morgan debate, a fiery one. The title, You Are Making Jews Less Safe. American Jews debate Israel-Gaza with Piers Beinart. Okay, guys, so without saying too much, guys, we're going to jump straight to action. You know, Piers Morgan, sometimes he's so unhinged. Sometimes, oh my God, I find him a bit unprofessional, all right, in the sense that he interrupts his guests a lot of times, but on other times he does pretty well. Okay, to be honest, like, I really rate his show. Okay, I rate his show. He's just being himself, and he's giving people the avenue to come out there, and speak their truth, even though sometimes he could be a bit, of a sketchy character, but still, it is what it is. All right, I would say he's kind of doing a, should we say he's doing a good job? Anyway, that's too much, guys. We are gonna go straight to action and check this one out. Okay. I will just show you the title real quick, and then we jump straight into it. All right. So that's the title right there, guys. Okay. I'm actually not subscribed yet. I don't even know why I'm not subscribed to Piers Morgan. All right. Let me give him a subscribe. Okay. Let's like this video. All right, guys. We are gonna go straight to action. We are gonna get this one started. Are you ready for this, guys? Are you ready? Hello, Brenda. Hannaford, cannot care for Piers Morgan, detest him, he lies. Oh, Piers Morgan can be a joker, but at least he allows people to come up there and speak the truth. Okay, let's get this one started.
Our safety, the safety of Israeli Jews, is intertwined with the safety of Palestinians. Most of the Palestinians who live in Gaza are only in Gaza because their parents or grandparents or great-grandparents were ethnically cleansed from Israel. This, for Jews, for us, this should be horrifying.
He's not entitled to his own fast. You can be as Jewish as you would like. Unfortunately, if you look at the Hebrew Bible, we have seen throughout history that there are Jews who have acted against the interests of the Jewish people.
Israel consistently lies, and Israel's defenders consistently lie. The irony is that for all the people like you who talk about Jewish safety, the irony is that you are making Jews less safe. Israel is making Jews less safe.
Israel is making Jews less safe. Even though they're out there defending their people, trying to get their hostages back, but they're making their people less safe. Wow. Very interesting.
Well, far away from the bullets and the outrage over total occupation, Jews in America find themselves accountable for the actions of a country over which they have no say. Israel's war on Hamas has unquestionably opened a spigot of anti-Semitism, and as we've sometimes seen on this show, the hatred flows in the other direction too. But American Jews are far from unanimous in their support for Israel or for Israel's war or what the government's doing in their name, as demonstrated in the recent exchange between Peter Beinart and Jon Stewart on The Daily Show.
How is the world not stepping in and stopping this atrocity? I don't understand this in any way, shape, or form. It's boggling my mind.
It's worse than just not stepping in. It's our weapons that are enforcing this siege, that is enforcing this mass starvation.
Well, what makes this conversation all the more important, of course, is that how Jewish America responds to this war could ultimately determine the future of the region, hopes for a two-state solution, and even Israel itself. Well, in a moment, we'll debate all this with a special all-Jewish, all-American panel. But first, I'm joined by Peter Beinart, author of Being Jewish After the Destruction of Gaza, and the Beinart Notebook on Substack. Peter, thank you very much indeed for joining me on Uncensored. Your interview with Jon Stewart, two Jewish men talking about this situation, was very powerful. It went viral. First off, what reaction have you had to it?
Okay, interesting.
I think American Jews and Jews around the world are very profoundly divided. There is a kind of a real crisis in many Jewish families where people are profoundly divided about this. And often along generational lines, often younger people versus older people. And the point I was trying to make, many of my closest friends, people I love, people in my own extended family, have a profoundly different view on this than me. I still love them, I still care about them, but what I try to say is our safety, the safety of Israeli Jews, is intertwined with the safety of Palestinians. This starvation and slaughter, beyond being immoral, beyond being, to me, an offense against God who sees all human beings as created equal in God's image, it's also profoundly dangerous for Israeli Jews who will have to live alongside the next generation of Palestinians in Gaza who have grown up seeing their parents and their families starved and slaughtered.
Okay. You know what I think? I think people are making this war more complicated when they ignore the basic facts of what's happening, because there's a fact of the matter. Okay, in war, no side is innocent, even though one side might be more justified, but generally all sides, intermeddle with things. Sometimes things get out of hand. Okay, that we do understand. But some people argue that this gentleman right here is shooting himself in the foot. I'll tell you why. I have a friend, okay, she's Israeli. She moved to Canada. She was pro-Palestinian. When I say pro-Palestinian, she was left. She was woke, pro-Palestinian, supporting the cause, going for protests. But do you know what happened? When they found out that she was an Israeli Jew, even all these years, they didn't know, right? She was in the same cause, fighting, but they found out she was an Israeli Jew. And that was it. They hated her. They said, oh, she's a baby killer. But she's like, I'm supporting this cause for Palestine. Oh, no, you're a baby killer. How does it feel being an occupier? I don't believe in Israel. So, what am I trying to get at is that the way it's going, it's not just the fact that they hate the state of Israel itself. The Jewish Israeli people are being attacked in diaspora, which is not right, which is unfair. Okay? They have no power over what the government does. They can vote, but they have no power over what the government does. So for me, that is one of my biggest problems. Okay? Allow the Israeli people to be free. You can hate the country, you can say whatever you want to say, but allow the Israeli people to be free. Because a lot of them don't even want to, they don't want to associate with the war at all. They are like, no, we don't want this. So stop painting everyone with the same brush. Okay, let's see people in the comment section. What are you guys saying? Oh, Flimsy Go. Thank you for being a member for 12 months. I really appreciate it. So much love to you. Love to you. I'm going to give a shout out to everyone in the chat. Brenda, Lily, Lisa, KJB, GBI. All right. So much love to all of you guys. Thank you for joining me. You guys are so amazing. Rico at Ismail, Ahmed Kanabawi. Yeah. Shout out to you. Okay. Shout out to everybody. Guys, let's just make this very clear, okay? I've said many times. I'm out here about love for humanity, okay? Love the people. The government, if you like, you can hate them. That's your business. God knows that I hate my government too, okay? But I love my people. Love. It's important. Love humanity.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've been covering this from October the 7th onwards on Uncensored, and for a long time, I vigorously defended Israel's right to defend itself. I felt they had a moral duty to defend its citizens after what happened on that hideous day. But certainly this year, from the start of this year, leading to the blockade, leading to the daily horrific scenes that these lines of people, thousands of them, desperate for food, clearly very, very hungry, and getting gunned down as they line up, desperate for food. To me, this crosses every line of self-defense. And when you add in...
Okay. Gunned down, right? Gunned down. Was it really them that gunned them down? Let's see. IDF, Gaza aid attack. Let's see, because some videos came out. They were saying that no, that Israel didn't do it, that it was all part of the propaganda. Where is it? Ah, look at this title. Do you see this? Do you see this? Because the thing is that there are always two sides to a story. All right, when you hear a story, always listen to both sides, not just one side. All right, not just one side. Okay. Brina Waldman, thank you for joining. Shady, if you watch Piers Morgan with Natasha Hasdorf, you see how awful he can be. Yes, I watched that, and I think he was really, really awful with her. All right, he was awful with her. Also, he has been horrid to Tommy Robinson. I saw that one where he really shut down Tommy Robinson. He was more disrespectful than even just shut him down. He was very disrespectful.
The rhetoric from people like Smodrich and Ben-Gvir, these hard right guys on the cabinet, when they talk so openly about a desire to cleanse Gaza of all Palestinians, you begin to think, is there a bigger thing going on here, which many feared might be the case, which is actually a form of ethnic cleansing, of removing all Palestinians from Gaza, from the West Bank?
Yes, I mean, it pains me to say this, but I think that's correct. It's important to remember the context. Most of the Palestinians who live in Gaza are only in Gaza because their parents or grandparents or great-grandparents were ethnically cleansed from Israel in 1948. And I think that what happened on October 7th with that horrifying massacre, those war crimes that were committed by October 7th, is that Israel didn't know anymore how to live alongside Palestinians in Gaza, and it was not fundamentally willing, Israeli leaders, to face the underlying issue, the underlying core grievance, which is that Palestinians lack freedom. And if you don't give people just because people are oppressed doesn't make them saints, right? People who are oppressed can do horrifying things, as Hamas did on October 7th. But they are subject to a structure of violence when you deny them their human rights. And because Israel wasn't willing to think about solving that core problem, it has moved towards the answer of solving the problem by mass expulsion of Gazans, which with an assist from Donald Trump. And this, for Jews, for us, this should be horrifying for us to see playing out in front of our eyes.
So they should ask him a question. How do you intend for the whole, situation to be resolved? Okay, I'm not saying Israel's doing the perfect job because God knows I'm not a general in the military. I haven't got any of those trainings. Okay, but if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to use my common sense to know that if there's a threat somewhere, I'm going to find it and annihilate it. Somebody invades my house, touches my family, takes away my family as hostages, I'm going to find them and destroy them. That is it. Case closed. Defense. Find them and destroy them no matter how long it takes. Okay, that is normal. That is what you are going to do. That's what everybody is going to do. But now the thing is, this situation is complicated. So how does he suggest Israel to go about it? I don't know, because it's going to look like a never-ending war. But the Palestinians, though, I must admit, they are suffering so very much. Anyway, sentiments aside, we need to use logic to find out how to sort out this issue to prevent it from recurring. 2005, was it not? 2005 that Israel, left Gaza, right? They evacuated Gaza. They forcefully ejected the people from Gaza to give it to the Palestinians. And then see what's going on.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that people have tried to deliberately and disingenuously conflate genuine criticism of what Israel's government is now doing. And I've become increasingly critical of what they're doing this year and very vocal about it. And immediately, all the people on the pro-Israeli side who at the start of the war were cheering me from the rooftops for, supporting Israel's right to defend itself, suddenly I'm anti-Semitic. I'm a Jew hater. And it's been relentless bombardment on X and other social media platforms. And yet there's been a real disconnect. That's why it's interesting about your reaction that you've been getting. a real disconnect with people I meet in the street. I've been in New York for a week. I've been in Los Angeles now. And I've only had Jewish people come up to me, and some Israelis, who've been thanking me for holding the government to account for what they're doing in their name. And for understanding what you have understood so clearly, is that a lot of what is going on now will actually make lives less safe for Israelis and for Jews around the world, not safer. And it's for that reason I've been so critical. And I also think if you treat...
Hold on. Why would that be an issue? It's saying that it's making life less safe for Jews around the world. Look at what's happening with Russia and Ukraine. Russians are safe all around the world. No one is attacking Russians. Ukrainians, no one is attacking Ukrainians all around the world, even with the war that's going on. Palestinians, no one is attacking Palestinians all over the world, even what's going on. But the Israelis are being attacked all over the world, even when they have nothing to do with the war. Just because they are Israeli, just because their blood is that is it. So what I'm seeing is like a precedence to what happened, in World War II, or what happened before World War II, during the Nazi time, all right, the Holocaust. Things that precede the Holocaust are beginning to happen, which is what? Unfair, because people are being targeted. I've not heard of that. They're targeting people. Oh, thank you very much for becoming members. I really appreciate it. Oh my God, I really appreciate you, UV, Gaetano, Hi, Rufin. Wow, you guys have just made my day. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support. It's been really tough being on YouTube and juggling it with my personal life and work. It's been really tough, but you guys' support means so much to me. I appreciate it. Much love to you.
Palestinians in Gaza, the innocent Palestinians, not Hamas, but the fact that 20,000 children have been killed, the fact that there's now obvious severe hunger, possibly the start of a famine, obvious starvation in many cases, the fact that there's this constant denial by people on the pro-Israeli side, I think it does all Israelis such a disservice.
Absolutely. And I have to say, it's when I see people trying to defend the indefensible, the starvation and slaughter of an entire people, by invoking anti-Semitism, it really sickens me, to be honest. We as Jews, we have inherited a kind of a sacred legacy.
Wait. What is anti-Semitism again? No, really, what is anti-Semitism again? I think that is anti-Semitism. But still, I believe strongly that the people of Gaza, the Palestinians, okay, people might say, yes, they supported Hamas at some point. But I think they are victims. I still really think they are victims, because sometimes, if a government, terrorizes you, shuts you down, there are things you can't say. You just have to publicly support the government. In private, they might not support the government, but in public, they have to, because if they don't, it might mean their life. Look at those that protested in Gaza. Their lives were taken. A lot of them were imprisoned. They were tortured just for showing, just for not showing support for Hamas, okay, and protesting. So we never know. That might be the case, all right? I mean, there's some videos of some people, YouTubers, going into Gaza, getting information. We're going to check those ones out, okay, because they really got some in-depth information for us.
Absolutely. And I have to say, it's when I see people trying to defend the indefensible, the starvation and slaughter of an entire people, by invoking anti-Semitism, it really sickens me, to be honest. We as Jews, we have inherited a kind of a sacred legacy of the oppression and slaughter and genocide of our ancestors. And we need to treat it with grave care. That is a sacred legacy in which if you call someone an anti-Semite, you are associating them with some of the worst crimes in human history. You should not use that phrase lightly, and you should certainly not use it because you don't have any good arguments to use to defend the starvation and slaughter of children.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's such a lazy trope to throw around. And, and I try and argue with the people that accuse me of this. And I say, look, I can't be as people tried to accuse me of being at the start of the war a pro-Zionist and so on, and then I'm also apparently a Jew hater and anti-Semite. I'm none of those things. I'm someone who's tried to look at this war as dispassionately as possible, as fairly as possible, and tried to work out what is happening here. Today's show.
Wow. Interesting. So, I'll say, I mean, you know, the whole situation, it's a bit complex, if I'm honest. It's a bit complex. But still, I believe that if we just stick to the facts of the matter, then it will be much easier to sort it out, all right? Just by sticking to the facts of the matter. It's unfair. It is unfair. Sometimes Piers Morgan can just be a bit too much. But anyway, he's given an avenue for discussion, which is something that I really applaud.
Promo code Piers. I mean, one of the problems is the Israeli government's refusal to allow international journalists into Gaza now since the start of the war. A, it makes me think, well, what are they hiding? B, it makes it almost impossible to independently verify the atrocities that happen, and it makes it very, very easy, which may explain why they're doing it, for the IDF and for Netanyahu to deny any culpability for anything.
Absolutely. It's such an important point, right? If Israel were really confident in the claims that it's making, that it never targets civilians, that it does everything it can to avoid targeting civilians and only hurting Hamas, that it's only Hamas's fault that people are starving because it's stealing aid. All of these claims we hear again and again and again. If you're confident in those claims, let the international media in and let them verify those claims. It doesn't suggest a lot of confidence in their own talking points that they won't allow the international media to check.
No, I completely agree. There's some very interesting stuff in your book, but I wanted to pick out a couple of things to start off with. One, you say here, the Jews who suffered pogroms in the Russian Empire in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, and the Jews who faced genocide in Europe in the 40s, were members of a vulnerable minority living in countries that had long restricted their rights. The terror they experienced was inextricably bound up with the oppression they endured. In Israel, by contrast, Jews enjoy legal supremacy, and it's Palestinians who lack basic freedoms. Comparing October the 7th to the Holocaust or a pogrom ignores that fundamental difference. I thought that was so well articulated, because often I get thrown back at me when I try and criticize what Israel's doing now in Gaza with, well, what about the British in World War II? You know, what about what happened there? What about the wholesale slaughter of civilians in this war and that war and that war? But I thought you articulated there the intrinsic difference between what has happened historically to what is happening now from a Jewish point of view.
Yes, again, this doesn't make the horror of October 7th any less for the people who were killed and people who were taken captive, not at all. But if we want to solve it, if we want to make sure we never experience another October 7th again, we have to understand the context, not to justify, but to understand, to make sure that everybody is safe. The violence of October 7th is by a people who are under occupation, under oppression. It's not like America's fight with the Nazis, or certainly not like the Shoah, the Holocaust of Jews in Europe. It's much more like the Mau Mau rebellion in Kenya, or the Algerian violence against the French, which was brutal, or Native Americans who attacked American settlers. People who have been forced off their land were being oppressed and responded in really, really brutal ways. And unless you deal with that underlying structure of oppression and violence, you can't make everybody safe.
Okay. Now, this man is making me want to go study deeper. I mean, even though I'm already researching, there's so much to learn. I'm learning, researching, checking a lot of things, but there seems still to be so much more, to learn. If I remember clearly, all right, Israel, like I said, left Gaza in 2005, left the country to them. And then in 2006 or 7, they had an election, and then they elected Hamas. And then after they elected Hamas, they started sending rockets into Israel. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section, guys. Am I wrong? If I'm wrong, somebody tell me. Now, these are things that I'm learning, things that I'm finding. Okay. Let's not make something more complicated. All right. Just say the truth. You know, one reason why I like Donald Trump. All right. Donald Trump is not a perfect man. He's got his, skeletons in his closet. But when it comes to saying the truth, when it comes to calling a spade, he calls it. He just says it as it is because it's easier. It's simpler. Just say the truth. This is blue, I'm black, I'm black. You are white, you're white. That is it. You know, make things simple. Stop beating around the bush. All right. Stop trying to say things to be in the good eye of the public, for people to like you more. People will like you, but they'll backstab you. Just be honest. People respect honesty. Integrity is well respected. It makes people uncomfortable because it's true.
Right, and you know, the whole point of the aftermath of World War II, the Geneva Convention and other things that were introduced, was to prevent some of the worst excesses of World War II on the Allied side, right? The carpet bombing of Dresden, for example. Yes.
Yo, Flimsy, thank you very much for all the gifts you're sending. Wow, I just want to give I just want to take some time to say a very big thank you to Flimsy. Like, all this love like I've been receiving, I really appreciate it, okay? Because you guys will understand how much this means to me. Like, it means so very much to me. You know, me coming out here, talking about things that I'm passionate about, talking about things that I'm learning, trying to encourage people to seek facts and truth, trying to encourage people to listen beyond, the fake news, look beyond the surface, try to understand things from the depth of the matter, rather than taking things out of context, rather than running with popular opinion. Okay, I appreciate the fact that you guys are showing me so much support and love. You guys don't know how much this means to me. I really appreciate it. All right, I really appreciate it. Okay, let's go back to the video. It's a bit long. I'll try not to pause anymore, so we'll finish it now.
You know, most people agree that was completely unnecessary, so they brought in the Geneva Convention to stop this stuff happening again. So I think the parallel again, when they try and throw that back at me to silence criticism of the government, is well, it's not an accurate comparison to be making. You made another very good point, I thought, which is, and only you could make this. I mean, I think only a Jewish person could say this, actually. You say in the book, we're not history's permanent virtuous victims. We are not hardwired to forever endure evil, but never commit it. That false innocence which pervades contemporary Jewish life camouflages domination as self-defense. It exempts Jews from external judgment. It offers infinite license to fallible human beings. Again, such an important point to make, because nobody is trying to, well, look, nobody with a rational mind is trying to deny what Jewish people have endured historically, not least in the Holocaust, or what happened on October the 7th. I mean, the scale of it was mind-blowingly horrific. 1,200 people murdered, 250 plus kidnapped, 7,000 more wounded. I mean, it was just on an unimaginable scale. But that doesn't mean that the Israeli government isn't now also perpetrating things which many people believe constitute war crimes.
Yes, and look, we as Jews are fully human, and being fully human means nothing is alien to us, is that we can be victims and we can be victimizers just like every other group of human beings. And you know, actually, our own sacred texts, the Hebrew Bible, Talmud, they actually make this point again and again and again. And in fact, there's nothing about having historically suffered abuse and violence and even genocide that means that you can't do it to other people, right? That happens, tragically, that happens throughout all the time in families, in human history. So we have to recognize about ourselves so we can actually guard against these tendencies, rather than always saying that every circumstance, even when the people of Gaza are suffering what's now widely being called a genocide, that we need to make this a story of Jewish victimhood. It's not.
You write in the book, this book is about the story Jews tell ourselves to block out the screens. It's about the story that enables our leaders, our families, and our friends to watch the destruction of the Gaza Strip, the flattening of universities, the people forced to make bread from hay, the children freezing to death under buildings turned to rubble by a state that speaks in our name and shrug, if not applaud. And in relation to that, Peter, what do you say to many people who disagree with you, disagree with me, who say that because of the way that Hamas conducts this war, because they embed themselves in civilian territories, in closely, tight areas, it's a small area of land, Gaza, comparative to many wars. They embed themselves amongst civilians, they embed themselves in schools and hospitals and so on, and that the only way to take out Hamas is to do it the way that the Israeli government is doing it through the IDF, and that if you have a lot of civilian casualties as a consequence of that, then that is on Hamas, because they have shown such a willful disregard for the lives of their own civilians, which is indisputable. They have. They built a tunnel system where Hamas hid safely, and they exposed their civilians to mass slaughter. What do you say to that?
I've been waiting for a question like this.
First of all, logic has failed on its own terms. Hamas is still there. Israel has destroyed most of the schools, the bakeries, the agriculture, the universities, the churches, the mosques. But you know who is there still? Hamas. And although Israel keeps talking about how many Hamas people they've killed and how many weapons they've destroyed, just like the Americans in Vietnam kept talking about how many Viet Cong they had killed, what they don't tell you is that Hamas has lots of new fighters. Because when you kill dozens of people, of someone's family and starve their parents to death, they're going to want to fight you. So they join Hamas, right? Yes, Hamas is an insurgency. It fights from within the civilian population and put Palestinians at risk. You know what?
Hold on. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, like I said, I'm a fact seeker. All right, I'm a fact checker. I've done quite a bit of research. From the research I've done, okay, guys, please correct me, like I said, if I'm wrong. From the research I've done, found out that there are camps that they have. So they go to this, what I read, okay, these people volunteer to fight for Hamas for the promise that Hamas will take care of their families. So they go to sacrifice themselves so their families will have a better life. And someone mentioned again that they keep reproducing, making so many children, so they will have a lot of boys, and then, like I said, these boys will go fight war, and it's like the price is the families will be sorted forever. Now, this is not a rumor I'm trying to spread. These are things that I found on the internet. You can search it, okay? Because like I said, I like to find information from both sides to really understand the whole truth, because there's always a fine line. The silver lining for you to find the truth. Guys, let me know.
So did the Viet Cong in Vietnam. They built a vast tunnel network as well. This is the way all guerrillas fight. And it means that when you're fighting an insurgency, you are still bound by international law. And if you want to succeed, you have to deal with the underlying grievance of the population. Otherwise, you will just kill masses of civilians and you'll never actually solve the problem.
There's a lot going on with the global economy.
Wow. Interesting. Things are getting crazy and out of hand. Flimsy goal. Much love to you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. All right, you are just amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for the love. Okay, guys, let's continue this video.
Peter, you're going to stay with me. I'm going to bring in the rest of the panel now. It's a panel of Jewish Americans, as I said, all with different perspectives.
Okay.
The political commentator for PragerU and pro-Israel activist Shabbos Kestenbaum, the writer, filmmaker, and host of the Katie Halper Show, Katie Halper, and Benjamin Moelem, who formerly worked as a law clerk for the Supreme Court of Israel and now curates, explains, and analyzes verified news from coverage from Israel on Instagram. Well, welcome to all of you. Shabbos, let me start with you. What is your reaction to what Peter said? And just to remind viewers, I think, about Peter's credential to speak about this. A, he's Jewish. B, he's a professor of journalism and political science at the City University of New York. He's a contributing opinion editor at the New York Times, an MSNBC political commentator, editor-at-large of Jewish Currents, a non-resident fellow at the Foundation for the Middle East Peace. In his personal life, he attends an Orthodox synagogue, keeps kosher, and has sent his kids to a Jewish day school. I would say that that's a pretty good checklist of credentials
Yeah,
to entitle
massive.
him to his opinions about this.
Massive
I do
credential.
accept, honestly, when I'm on X and arguing with Jewish people about this, I do accept the argument I'm not Jewish. You can't have that argument with someone like Peter Beinart. So, Shabbos, your reaction to what you've just heard?
Certainly, Peter's entitled to his own opinions. He's not entitled to his own facts. The American Jewish Committee had a survey in June, and it found that 85% of all American Jews felt a stronger attachment to Israel post-October 7th. Look, Peter has been going on national media for decades now, talking about how American Jews are continuously non-Zionist or anti-Zionist, but the data and the facts just don't back it up. I was a student at Harvard where Peter was paraded around the university. He spoke at Harvard Divinity School. He spoke at Harvard Kennedy School. He spoke at Harvard Law School. He spoke at the Harvard College. And he's repeating the same talking points, but at the end of the day, the overwhelming majority of American Jews feel a strong attachment to Israel and feel an even stronger attachment to their Judaism, in spite of what Peter is trying to portray. The second point I would like to make is you can be as Jewish as you would like. Unfortunately, if you look at the Hebrew Bible, we have seen throughout history that there are Jews, I'm not necessarily saying this is Peter, but simply saying I am Jewish and therefore I can't be anti-Semitic, or I am Jewish and therefore the things I'm saying have legitimacy. If you look at the Hebrew Bible, we've always had Jews who have acted against the interests of the Jewish people. In fact, just yesterday was the holiday of, or the commemoration of Tisha B'Av, which is when we commemorate the destruction of the first and second temple in 586 BC and 70 CE, the destruction brought by the Babylonians and then the Romans. And a lot of that destruction was brought upon Jews who tried going to foreign enemies and told them that they should, in their own interest, destroy our temple. So I'm not convinced by anyone who says I am Jewish and therefore my arguments aren't inherently anti-Semitic or aren't inaccurate. I will judge Peter and any argument based on the arguments being made and not based on their Jewish identity.
Okay, I like this. I like this. I like this. I like this. I'm going to judge someone based on their talking points, okay? And the judgment is just based on the conversation. It's not based on them. It's not based on their personality, their family. I'm not going to attack their family. It's not my business. They've got their point of view that they're putting across. I've got my point of view I'm putting across. So we're going to have a fight of facts, and that is it. Just, it's like a debate or like an argument, open conversation, and we leave it there. That is healthy. All right, not going out to actually physically attack people as well, or you know what I mean, or otherwise.
No, not at all. And in fact, I've routinely defended you, Piers, when I do.
Oh, let me take this back. He said, is he anti-Semitic?
Anti-Semitic or aren't inaccurate. I will judge Peter and any argument based on the arguments being made and not based on their Jewish identity.
And out of interest, do you think I'm anti-Semitic?
No, not at all. And in fact, I've routinely defended you, Piers, when I do media interviews, when I am on podcasts. I think one of the reasons that pro-Israel Jews stop going on your show is not because of, you know, they're not able to defend the war. It's simply because you don't really treat them well. You know, Natasha Hasdorf is a friend of mine, and let's call a spade a spade. I believe you acted pretty inappropriately towards her, and people aren't willing to engage in an environment whereby there's not a lot of good faith argument. You know, last time I was here, you allowed Anna Kasperi to call me.
You know what? It's interesting. You know what's interesting about Natasha? What's interesting about Natasha?
Thank you. He's called out Piers Morgan. Someone needed to call him out, and he called him out. Piers needed to hear this. Yeah, this is a smack for Piers.
Because I was labouring under the massive misapprehension that she was indeed a senior international lawyer. Most international lawyers I've met are perfectly able to deal with the rough and tumble of a media interview, however contentious it may be, however much they get interrupted. It turned out that she was not able to deal with that, played the victim.
She was not able to deal with that. Did you see how calm and composed she was all through the interview? Piers Morgan would throwing tantrums like a bully.
Afterwards, and had a lot of people playing the victim on her behalf, which I thought was actually pretty pathetic. You know, I got annoyed with her because she was trying to cast doubt over things like 9 children being killed in an airstrike, which nobody else was raising any doubt about whatsoever. Not least because the parents, who were both medics, had given interviews talking about losing 9 of their 10 children. I thought that was pretty inhuman, actually. But so, let's not make this about Natasha Hasdorf, but I did find the massive overreaction to what was, you know, I'll accept, I probably interrupted her a bit too much. She's a lawyer. You know, I mean, for God's sake, if you can't rough up a lawyer in a media interview a bit and interrupt a bit too much when you don't like what you're hearing, I'm not sure what the world's coming to.
He's defending himself.
I accept that you, Shabbos, have always, when you've come on uncensored, acted in a very respectful manner. And I think that brings out probably the best in interviewers when you do that. I may not agree with you, but you don't react the way that she did in that interview. So I don't think it was all completely blameless.
What did she do?
Katie Halber, I could see you reacting facially quite a lot there to what Shabbos was saying. So explain what was annoying you.
Well, I think that, there are a couple of things to bear in mind. One is that what Shabbos is doing is kind of typical talking points. So a couple of things to remember is that Israel consistently lies and Israel's defenders consistently lie because they don't have the facts on the ground and they certainly don't have the moral argument. And I think it's really rich for Shabbos to suggest that someone like Peter Beinart is perhaps an anti-Semite or a self-loathing Jew. And that's also a trick. In fact, yes, you did.
When did he say that? Oh my God. Guys, we all watched this video together. When did he say that, or when did he insinuate it? He did not. I say if maybe I heard wrong, but I don't think he did. This is ridiculous. Let me see what you guys are saying in the comment section. Kane Corso Mom said, you interrupted her and talked over her repeatedly. That doesn't happen in court. That is true. That is true. Okay? While in court it happened and the judge decides who keeps speaking. Yes, so when it happens in court, the judge decides who speaks, but then it doesn't happen over and over in court, because if it happens, then the judge could suspend you or something, like, yeah, you're gonna pay for it. Ari Gold said Piers likes Qatar money too much. Oh my god, let me go back a bit. These comments are getting so interesting. Where did I miss it? Flimsy Go said, the world is nuts. Okay, thank you, Shady, for keeping sanity alive. Thank you very much. World in Motion said, the love of money is nuts. It is indeed. The Watermelon Club said, almost 1 million followers, but only some people in chat. I'm telling you, that the tough life I'm facing right now. If you have problems with that numbers, invite your friends. Lilith! If you have problems with numbers, invite your friends. Thank you very, very much. Okay, Shabbos is cooking. Lily, which is ironic because we don't cook on Shabbat. Okay, what else? Good wording. The issue is too big. Need to take it one by one topics. Hello. Love you, Shady. Thank you, Eddie Dominguez. Alright, guys, we've read some of the comments. We're going to jump straight to action. Oh, Eddie Dominguez said, I'm 20 minutes behind. Unfortunately, these people are full of Ken Kosomom, yes, you are, Piers, because you lie about Israel. Oh my God. Shady, let's watch the link from Traveling Israel I gave you for facts. You gave me a link from Traveling Israel. Oh, send it. Okay. Did you send it to me on Instagram? If you send it to me on Instagram, I'm going to see it. Or send it to my Discord. I'm going to find it on my Discord. Okay. Use your delusion said. Speaking to the Watermelon Club, no, it really shouldn't be used to refer to people. That usage comes out of 19th century racialized ideas. There are no Semitic people, only Semitic speaking people. Okay, lovely. Now let us carry on. Oh, chat is getting so interesting.
You said that you take them as what they say, and just because they're Jewish, you're not going to say they're not anti-Semitic or self-loathing.
And I specifically said I am not using Peter as an example. I'm saying in general, I'm not going to assume that because someone's Jewish identity deflects criticism. So don't say that I called him an anti-Semite. I literally didn't.
But you basically suggested that just because he's Jewish, he doesn't get a get out of jail free card, which is a fair enough argument. But the truth is that Jews like Peter Beinart are much less anti-Semitic than Jews who defend Israel, because when you are live streaming a genocide and saying that this is for the sake of Jewish people, you are putting all Jews at risk. I mean, let's table the fact that this is a very inhumane and unjust and immoral and illegal genocide. And that's not just me saying that. That's countless genocide experts. That's, Zionists who have been saying that. That's B'Tselem, the Israeli human rights organization, the Israeli Jewish human rights organization. B'Tselem says it's a genocide. Physicians for Human Rights says it's a genocide. All of these Israeli organizations say it's a genocide. But what we have to remember is that there's also a trick. In fact, there was a minister of Israel who said that this is the trick we play when we talk to people. We bring up the Holocaust and we bring up anti-Semitism, and we do that whenever someone criticizes Israel. And this woman, Shalomit Aloni, was a minister of education in Israel.
Okay.
And so what we're going to see throughout this panel, I assume and I predict from watching past panels, is we're going to see a lot of lying, a lot of obfuscation, and a lot of claims that people are anti-Semitic or picking on Israel unfairly or self-loathing Jews. And you should just bear that in mind. And Shabbos, I just watched the panel with you and you lied through your teeth the entire time. You even said, fact check me on something. You said that Piers asked you if the proportion of children killed was higher in Gaza than it was in other wars. And you said that it was as high in other wars. And you named the Syrian Civil War, Vietnam, and Korea. Unfortunately, the stats don't back you up. And the proportion of children killed in all of those wars was lower. I can go over the stats with you, but was lower than the proportion of children killed in Gaza. So we have an active genocide going on. It is actually illegal for the United States to support this genocide. It violates the Leahy Law. It violates the Foreign Assistance Act. It is a threat to every living person, basically. And of course, ironically, now I don't speak out because this has a dangerous effect on Jews. It does have a dangerous effect on Jews. I speak out because I believe that Palestinians are human beings with human rights. I also speak out because Israel doesn't get to speak for all Jews. But the irony is that for all the people like you who talk about Jewish safety, the irony is that you are making Jews less safe. Israel is making Jews less safe. AIPAC is making Jews less safe. The ADL is making Jews less safe. And you're engaging in the anti-Semitic trope of equating Jewishness with Zionism. Every time that you claim that all Jews have to be Zionists or that it's anti-Semitic to be anti-Zionist, you are leaning into that dual loyalty trope, which claims that all Jews are a monolith and we all support Israel. And again, when you're live streaming the genocide that the entire world sees, and you're saying that this is for the sake of Jews, I don't know how that's good for the Jews.
Okay, Benjamin Molam, let me bring you in here. It's actually very interesting to me to have 4 Jews debating this, because I think that's the way it should be, actually.
Very powerful.
Because I'm aware.
I agree.
That in the Jewish community globally, there is, as Peter said, a lot of debate and argument and massive difference of opinion between families and friends. It's dividing a lot of people around the world in the Jewish community. My issue with what is happening in Gaza is it doesn't seem to be showing any evidence of Israel's original stated war aims being achieved. The hostages are not being released and haven't been since February, pre the blockade. Hamas have clearly not been defeated by any stretch of the imagination at all.
Wow. Guys, the amount of love I'm receiving, honestly, it's just, it's really touching my heart, mate. Thank you very much for the membership. We've got 1, 2, 3. Wow, we've got 5 more members. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more members, guys. Thank you very much for becoming members. Smiler, Juicy, It's the Little Things, Commander HHL, Lulu, Flimsy. Thank you very much for sending me 5 membership gifts. You've sent me how many now? About 10 already. 15. Thank you so much for becoming members. Thank you for sending the love. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Okay. All right, guys, let's carry on.
Continue to taunt Israel with horrific videos of these hostages being treated in the most disgusting manner. Although I raised a point yesterday on X, and I wasn't trying to be, political about it. I wasn't trying to be anti-Semitic or anything else. I simply said,
Look at this. Just look at this. If I was the one that was, the president or the prime minister of Israel, and I'm trying to save, free my hostages, and I see this video, so the whole world is telling me ceasefire, stop. I'm like, okay, I need to stop. And then you see this video that's provoking you. This is horrendous. Honestly, this is unfair to anyone, even if they were Palestinian, Israeli, whoever they are, okay, assuming it's not Israeli, even if it was Palestinian, this is unfair. Okay, this is not right. So horrific.
It was interesting to me that Hamas put out footage that is accepted immediately as 100% credible, and everybody on the pro-Israeli side, rightly, because I think they are genuine videos, was raging about this, and they were horrific and disgusting, and Hamas are horrific and disgusting. But there's a completely different attitude towards the Gaza Health Ministry figures which are released about casualties. Even though, as Peter points out in his book, the Gaza Health Ministry actually includes names. Whereas if you ask any senior Israeli that I've interviewed, the Israeli ambassador to the UK, she knew exactly how many Hamas terrorists had been killed, but she had no idea and couldn't tell me how many civilians had been killed. They don't keep a record. And so, again, I was just curious. I was curious why the utter credulous reaction to awful videos, but utter incredulity to casualty numbers, when it would appear historically that the Gaza Health Ministry numbers tend generally to be pretty accurate and accepted by Israel after the event. Only now, since October the 7th, has everybody on the pro-Israeli side that I've had arguments with about this said, actually, none of it's true. You can't believe any of it. We know we've killed 30,000 terrorists. We've no idea how many civilians have died. None of that is credible to me. So sorry for the little rant there, but it's something that comes at me a lot on X. And I just found that an interesting thing to watch in the last couple of days. But what is your reaction generally to the points Peter made about the increased threat he believes is now happening to Israelis and to Jewish people around the world as a result of the current war strategy of Netanyahu's government?
So allow me to begin by addressing your point about the difference between the video of Aviatar David and Ron Braslavsky and the numbers that come out from the Gaza Health Ministry. The video that was released, it was released by the Israeli government after they showed the family and analyzed it. And obviously there's an obvious difference between video evidence and numbers that come out from a Hamas health ministry that nobody really knows how it operates.
I exactly thought so. I thought so exactly.
And it's clear that they have a deliberate policy of starving the hostages. It's something that they've said, something that has been assessed, something that you can see. There's no deliberate policy of starvation when it comes to Israel's policy vis-a-vis aid into Gaza. We can argue about...
well, there was a blockade for 3 months. I mean, that's a deliberate policy of starvation.
There wasn't.
And they said they were going to let in no food. They said it out loud. That's why genocide scholars.
Literally, that's the epitome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but what happened for the 75 days prior to that blockade? 600 truckloads of aid were allowed into Gaza on a daily basis. Israel had assessed that there was enough food in Gaza for every person there to have 3,000 calories for a period of 2 months, which is how long the blockade actually lasted. Israel was trying to apply pressure onto Hamas, which obviously...
By starving the civilian population, that's a war crime.
She didn't even listen to him. She didn't listen to him. So if I heard him clearly, Israel made sure they sent enough food for 2 months. Then they put a blockade for 2 months. So to ensure that the people had enough food. Wait, let's take this back again. Let's listen to what he's saying.
It's a deliberate policy of starvation.
There wasn't.
And they said they were going to let in no food. They said it out loud. That's why genocide scholars.
Literally, that's the epitome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but what happened for the 75 days prior to that blockade? 600 truckloads of aid were allowed into Gaza on a daily basis. Israel had assessed that there was enough food in Gaza for every person there to have 3,000 calories for a period of 2 months, which is how long the blockade actually lasted. Israel was trying to apply pressure onto Hamas, which obviously...
By starving the civilian population, that's a war crime.
Saying what I need to say, then
it is a war crime. It's terrorism. Okay.
Okay. There was enough food in Gaza for everybody to be fed for 2 months, and that was the length of the actual blockade. Hamas stole all the aid, or I shouldn't say all the aid, much of the aid, and used that to fuel their war effort against Israel, and we know that to be a fact. Now, when Israel reopened the aid, they had set up the GHF, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation system, in order to prevent Hamas from receiving that aid or stealing that aid. And we know that it was successful because one of Hamas's key demands in the negotiations over a ceasefire was that GHF be dismantled. Why would they want GHF to be dismantled? It's another method for bringing aid into Gaza. If they really care about aid in Gaza, why do they want
How
one
many
of the
people
methods?
have been
The reason is-
killed trying to get food from GHF?
Why is she interrupting him? Just keep quiet, please, madam. Let him speak. Oh, PB Law, thank you very much. So PB Law said, keep up the great work, Shady. Love your heart so much. We'll be happy to help you. Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
How many people have been shot and
I
killed?
don't know how many people have been, and how do you know how many people have been killed?
Hundreds.
And how many
Well,
of
we
them
know
have
we
been-
know that from the Green
Hang on,
Beret.
hang
What
on.
about Anthony
Let me
Aguilar's
ask a question.
testimony?
We know that over 1,000 people have been killed as they are in these big lines trying to get food, right? My question for you is, how many have Israel killed of the 1,000 plus who've died?
I don't know. I don't know how many were
Yeah.
killed by Israel. I don't know how many were killed by Hamas. But there is documented evidence of Palestinians in Gaza saying that Hamas was shooting at them. And Israel has acknowledged shooting to keep people away. I don't know if you've seen some of these videos, but you've got groups of a handful of soldiers, and you've got thousands of people coming at them. That puts them in danger, in a clear danger, and they're shooting warning shots. They're shooting at their legs. How many were killed by
Maybe
Israeli
they should
soldiers?
have more than 4 distribution sites. Maybe they should have more than 4 distribution sites. You don't think that's a
It
trap
takes a
for
while to set up a
on
distribution
safety?
site. I don't know how easy it is for you sitting in the chair wherever you're sitting in the United States to set up a distribution site.
Well, then
but it's
maybe
not
they
easy
should have
to do.
used established distribution instead of
They did.
an
There was
organization
aid
that
continued.
has
Aid
no
has-
experience.
I don't like people like this. I don't like people like this. I don't like people like this. Okay? I really don't. All right? I allow people to talk. If you have anything to say to me, I shut my mouth. I shut my mouth. I wait for you to finish. Once you're done, I start speaking. But when I start speaking and you start interrupting me, it gets on my nerves so very much. All right? And then I shut up again and I listen. I've been in a situation like this with some people. They're talking, I shut up. They finish. When I start talking, one sentence in, they're interrupting. Then I shut up again. I wait for them to finish. They finish. When I start again, they go on. Why? I look at the condescending look she's giving him, like she knows everything. She sat down there comfortably, like she knows what's going on. Has she been on the war front before?
And that why did the person resign before it started? Why did the guy who was supposed to be
You're
the head
just
of it
throwing out
resign?
questions that have absolutely nothing to do with the topic at hand. Israel has
No, it
continued
has
to
everything
allow
to do with
aid
it.
into Gaza, not just through GHF, but through the UN and through other aid organizations since it reopened the aid in May. So there is multiple organizations distributing aid in Gaza. Hamas is stealing from the UN, is stealing from the other international aid groups, but not from GHF, which is why Hamas wants GHF dismantled.
No, 2 Israeli officials
Benjamin,
have admitted
Benjamin,
that
let me
there's no
ask
evidence
let
of
me ask
Hamas
Benjamin.
doing that, by the way. And 170
let me ask Benjamin.
NGOs and aid organizations
Keep
have said
quiet.
GHF needs to be dismantled.
Shut up, madam.
What's their ulterior
Shut
motive?
up,
It's been a
madam.
complete shambles. I think it's been a complete shambles. But Benjamin, do you believe that any Palestinian children are severely hungry?
It would appear to be the case, yes. I see the same image as you do, and it's heartbreaking. But we have to ask ourselves, who's at fault for that?
Israel.
Who? Oh, really? So if on October 6th, and I'm going back in history, I know there are going to be a lot of questions going on, but let me finish what I have to say. On October 6th, there was a ceasefire. There were no hungry children in Gaza because there was plenty of aid going into Gaza, much of which was being stolen by Hamas from the get-go. Hamas spent.
You guys said openly, the Israeli government said, we're putting the people of Gaza on a diet. You calculated the exact number of calories required to survive. That's not.
This woman is insufferable. Insufferable.
Exactly,
Yes,
letting in enough food or aid. That's called a siege.
Well, let me bring Peter in now.
That is.
Let me get Peter to respond to this.
Gaza, 3,000 calories a day.
Let me ask Peter.
Enough.
All
Why
right,
did they say we're putting
let
them
me
on a
ask Peter
diet?
about this.
Okay, sorry, Peter, go, yeah.
All right, let me ask Peter about this. Peter, this is the problem, though. This is why I feel so incensed about the refusal to allow international journalists into Gaza, because
You know, no one is talking about gender. No one is talking about non-gender. we are judging people based on being a human being. All right? And to be honest, this woman does not deserve to be here. All right? It has nothing to do with gender, but her character. You notice the other gentlemen were quiet. They shut their mouth up because they were listening. For you to speak, you have to listen. When you listen, then you can communicate effectively. Yeah, she shouldn't be there. Piers shouldn't invite her anymore. Yeah, because she's just destroying it. I mean, guys, if I'm wrong, please let me know. If I'm wrong, let me know. I do not claim to be right, but... These talking points are so embarrassing, the Watermelon Club says. Anon, the madam is disrespectful. Exactly. I find that really disrespectful. Shady, Gaza has many restaurants open. Never heard of that in a genocide or concentration camp. Okay, guys, let me show you something. There's a video, all right, I saw of Gaza. Oh, is it Gaza? Wait, was it Gaza or was it? Wait. I might be wrong. It might be the West Bank. Let's just quickly check this. It might be the West Bank. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But I saw a video of this guy. He went somewhere. I don't know the name of all these places. You know, when I visit, I'll find out. Where is this? Ramallah. Is Ramallah West Bank or is it Gaza? Because I can see this guy is in a restaurant. You see that? You see how everything looks nice? So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Let's see the Saluki if he went to Gaza. Because this guy, I commend him. I commend him. Okay, so he said this is not Gaza. Okay, where? Let's see, where did he go? Open calls for Gaza. Okay, he said this is not Gaza. Okay, I thought that was Gaza. But to be honest, yeah, look at this. I saw a video, a vlog of Gaza. The video said, welcome to Gaza or something like that. Where is this video? Let's find it. Well, no, five things about Gaza. Yeah, this one. This one.
Year-long massacre and a siege, but it's not all doom and gloom here in Gaza. We're spending the
This
day
was
showing the best
this was how many years ago? 6 years ago.
5 things to do.
Gaza will have been really nice. Like, look.
Come and buy something for your loved one.
It's just so sad what's happened there, but it'll have been a really lovely place to visit.
Everything can be denied. You know, we know 1,000+ people have been killed in these food lines. We know from all the independent reports that have come out of this that it's highly likely the majority have been killed by the IDF, right? And the IDF's excuses for
it's the West Bank.
Ridiculous. They're always launching an inquiry, launching an investigation, firing in the air, firing warning shots, and then you see a lot of footage which contradicts that. But the bottom line is, if you had independent media there, they could verify these things quite quickly, as they do in other war zones. So it's become a real problem here. But what do you make of what the two gentlemen who disagree with you quite fundamentally here, what do you make of what they've been saying?
I mean, I think Shabbos and Ben are completely sincere in their beliefs, and I think they believe that what they're arguing for is in the best interests of our people, and I think they care passionately about the Jewish people. I really believe that. Their views are very familiar to me. They're the views of people who I care about and love. I just disagree with them because the reason I disagree with them is that I don't think they take into account the interconnectedness of our safety as Jews and the safety of Palestinians. In the long run, I believe it is very, very dangerous for Israeli Jews to create conditions of starvation and slaughter for Palestinians, even if, because that produces a new generation of people who will join groups like Hamas or groups even more radical than Hamas. I believe that the safest thing for Israeli Jews is to live alongside Palestinians who have basic freedom, who have basic human rights, that is a condition that will be safer for everyone. And I will say, in my experience, and again, I'm very, very fallible, and I've been wrong about lots of things. In my experience, the Jews who spend more time with Palestinians as human beings, the Jews who have had more deeper relationships with Palestinians as human beings, the Jews who have spent more time actually seeing with their own eyes what Palestinian life is like under Israeli control, are more able to understand that.
Yeah, Shabbos, your body language has not been particularly positive listening to a lot of this the last few minutes. Do I detect you're not entirely in agreement?
Well, first of all, we just finished a 25-hour fast for Tisha B'Av, so go easy on me. What I'll say is this.
Okay.
Me too, by the way.
What is in the best interest of the safety of the people of Israel is what is in their best interest. They should not be lectured by American Jews like me and Peter. I think the biggest threat to Israeli Jews right now is the fact that Hamas continues to fire rockets into Israel, is the fact that there are hundreds of thousands of Muslim and Christian and Jews and Druze citizens who can't return to their homes in the north, is the fact that while it is true the Iranian nuclear facilities have been delayed quite substantially, still Iran has not let up with their goal of developing nuclear weapons. So Israel should not take into account what Peter and I say. Israel is a strong Western country that should do what is in their best interest of Israel, in the same way the United States should do what is in the best interest of the United States. What I will say on a broader lens is when it comes to the data, when it comes to the facts, the overwhelming majority of American Jews continuously state that a strong attachment to Israel is central to their Jewish identity. And that has nothing to do with political Zionism. It has nothing to do with Bibi Netanyahu. It has to do with the fact that, as I mentioned yesterday, the entirety of the Jewish experience rests on the fact that we have as a central physical location a land in which we base our Jewish identity. We can only do roughly 2/3 of all the 613 commandments because we do not have a temple in the land of Israel. Almost the entirety of the Jewish calendar revolves around things that happened in the land of Israel. In fact, there is a positive command right now for Jews to be living in the land of Israel. When we pray 3 times a day. In the thrice daily prayers, we talk about the return to Zion dozens and dozens and dozens of times. And this is not a new thing. We've been praying for the return to Zion for 2,000 years. When we pray, we face Jerusalem. So to negate the core attachment that Jews have to the land of Israel is to negate Judaism itself. You cannot separate Jews from Zion.
And now, why do all these Orthodox Jews oppose that?
Oh, shut up. Just shut up. Why must she talk? Switch off her mic. Look at her. I don't like, no prejudice against people, okay, but you need to have respect. You need to show respect. There's a time and a place. Just keep quiet. Let him speak. You will speak too. I will listen to you.
The core attachment that Jews have to the land of Israel is to negate Judaism itself. You cannot separate Jews from Zion.
And now, why do all these Orthodox Jews oppose Zionism?
Hang on. Let me finish the point.
Sorry.
And
a lot of what Shabbos...
Hang on. No, Peter, that's not how it works. You have to let me finish the point, and then you can tell me why I'm wrong. But you can't tell me I'm wrong before I finish the point.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you had. Go ahead.
You're already wrong.
Go ahead.
Katie, you can't say I'm wrong.
No, go ahead, Shabbos. Go ahead.
3 times a day, which I assume you don't. If you would pray 3 times a day, you would notice that in our prayer books, we mention Zion dozens and dozens and dozens of times.
Yeah, you know what else? You know what the Torah mentions? You know what the Torah mentions 12 times is the orphan and the widow, protecting the orphans and widows. But for people like you think the Torah says it's creating orphans and widows, apparently. So spare me the lecture on morality based on the text.
Can I Shabbos,
and then you can tell me why I'm wrong.
Let Peter respond.
Let him finish. Let Peter respond. Let him finish his point. Let him finish his point. He's been so quiet from the beginning of the video. He's been so quiet, respectful, waiting, just waiting. His turn to speak, attacked.
No, you got to let me finish the point and then you respond. Here's the point.
But you're
Political
lying so many
Zionism
times.
is different than Judaism and the ethereal return to Zion. People can criticize the state of Israel. In fact, I'm very proud of the fact that I drove 4 hours from New York to D.C. 2 years ago to protest with Sal Smotrich. If you've ever been to Israel, it is a national pastime to criticize the Israeli government. I'm involved in Jewish activism and have been my entire life. I do not know of a single Jew on planet Earth who will tell you that it is anti-Semitic to criticize the Israeli government. So we are not conflating the return to Zion with the political state of Israel. What we are saying is what happens in the land of Israel matters. Almost the majority of the Jewish people live in Israel. So obviously the Jewish diaspora will care about what happens in Israel because our brethren all live there. And when they are under assault, we want to protect them.
Okay, Peter.
There's a lot in what Shava says that I agree with him. I do agree that a connection to what we call the land of Israel is an essential part of Judaism. I do agree that a sense of solidarity, that Jews are responsible for one another, very much including the Jews who live in the state of Israel, is central to what it means to be a Jew. I entirely agree. But the texts that Shabbos and I both read and study and revere were mostly written before the creation of the state of Israel. There's a distinction between a connection to the land and a connection to the people and the connection to a state that was built in 1948. And we have the right to question whether the political system of that state is not ordained by God, right? And I believe that my Judaism starts with the understanding that Torah doesn't start with the Jewish story. It starts with universal human beings created equal in the image of God. And so when I think about the political system that I favor, whether in Israel, Palestine, or the United States or anywhere else, my foundational belief is that it should treat people equally under the law, because that is the political expression of the theological principle in Judaism that all human beings are created equal in the image of God.
Okay, Benjamin.
Wow. I must give it to him. Yeah, he's got a point. Yeah, he's got a massive, massive point.
Final word with you, and then I'll ask Katie as well. What should Donald Trump be doing now? Because many people believe that the Arab League intervention several days ago, in which they were calling for Hamas to be dismantled, was significant. Should Trump be doing more to bring this war to an end?
Well, it depends what you consider to be more. Now, in Israel, there is a healthy debate over where Israel should go from here in terms of should it prioritize the return of the hostages or should it prioritize the destruction of Hamas? Both are legitimate perspectives, in my opinion, and that's pretty much the perspective you would get in Israel as well.
Okay, PB Law says, Shady, I posted a Gaza restaurant link open right now. Want your comments on it? Okay, let's see. Let me check this out now. So he said it's on my Instagram. Let's go to my Instagram quickly. And thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Okay. So, wait, what is your name? Is it Chen? Let me see. What is it? No, this one, not this one, not this one. Let me know. Are you Chen? Yeah, are you Chen? I saw something like Chen sent me a message, said delivered to Gaza. Now the thing is, if I show this, give me permission to show it, because when I put it up, okay, no, it's not even going to show your name. Okay, guys, this is it. Let me show you what she sent. Live. Is it this? Is that it? Or maybe I got it wrong. Oh, PB Law, I'm not on Insta. Oh, okay, so where did you post it? Was it in the comment section? Shady, I posted a Gaza restaurant link open right now. Want your comments on it? Wait, I can't see it. So I went to comment section, it's not there. Let me click on this. It might just be under here. Let's refresh this page. Click on this. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? By any chance, can you post it here in the chat? Post it here in the chat. I'm going to copy it and check it. Yeah, post it here in the chat. I'm going to check it. Because I think what it is that I probably missed it. Yeah, just post it in the chat here. I'll just copy it. Okay. Let's go back to business. Oh, was it in my Discord, you mean? Let me check my Discord. Okay, so I'm on Discord. Nope, it's not in my Discord. Okay, let's carry on.
The question is, and there are questions for both sides, you know, how could you leave aside the issue of the hostages versus leaving aside the issue of the future danger of allowing Hamas to remain intact? Now, one thing you don't hear from the international critics of Israel when it comes to the continuation of the war is, well, what about Hamas? Hamas is sitting pretty. It's benefiting from its weaponization of the citizens in Gaza, of the Palestinian people in Gaza, and the world is handing it rewards. One of the members of the Hamas Politburo last week, Ghazi Hamed, who was speaking to Al Jazeera, he said that if it wasn't for the October 7th attacks, we would be nobody would be paying attention to us. And now we're getting recognition from Western countries. We've been able to manipulate the world into believing that Israel is a pariah, or turning Israel into a pariah, as a matter of fact, because of our actions in Gaza. And this has not been good for Israel, but nobody is paying attention to what do you do with Hamas. Keir Starmer, your prime minister, probably made the most boneheaded announcement where he said that he would recognize a Palestinian state in September on the condition that Israel ends the war, which incentivizes Hamas to sit back, do absolutely nothing, not agree to a hostage deal, because they're going to get recognition from the United Kingdom come September. The world needs to stop rewarding Hamas for what it is doing to Gaza, not just to the people of Israel, but what it's doing to Gaza as well. Israel has a very difficult task.
Oh, okay. I don't know if this is how true this is.
Soak tea bags or dining at restaurants offering 20% bonus deals with digital payments. Because the media's only showing you one side, I'll show you the other. Okay, pay attention. We keep hearing that Gaza is starving. There's famine. People are so desperate they're swimming into the sea to collect soggy aid dropped from the sky. This video provided by the Associated Press. But here is what is not being shown. These clips were posted by Gazans themselves to Instagram this week. Manakish in North Gaza running promos, accepting bank app payments. Titanic restaurant in Khan Yunis, kebab, desserts, yes, digital deals. Rayana Sweet and Salt in Deir al-Bala open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. accepting bank transfers. Famine? Promotions? What's happening? Okay, so take this deal from Manakish. Buy food and get 20% to your deal. Let's say you pay 100 shekels through a bank app, get 120 shekels worth of food. Sounds like a deal, right? But who's benefiting? Cash in Gaza is controlled by Hamas. Digital payments move through different channels. Some of these businesses could still be tied to Hamas. Now the money circles back, they profit, Hamas profits, and aid keeps flowing. But the bigger question is, where is this digital money coming from? International aid, NGOs, UN programs. Save the Children alone put $23 million into Gaza between November of 2023 and June of 2025. So here is the full picture. There is food in Gaza. Aid money is flowing, digital banking is working, restaurants are open, food is being sold with perks, and Hamas is still profiting by controlling the cash side of the system. But you're being told there's famine, that people are swimming for survival, that this is humiliation, not aid. Let's be clear, there is suffering, yes, because it's a war, but there's also context, and context is what the media keeps leaving out. Which one is it? Are Palestinians risking their lives for soaked tea bags or dining at restaurants offering 20...
Wow. Okay. I didn't see this coming. Well, guys, there you have it. Like I said, there's always two sides to a story. Always. And context always matters. All right, let's go back to the video.
Wages
It's not difficult.
Okay. Let me give Katie the last word to respond. Katie.
Well, it's really not difficult. Israel is obliged to follow international law and international humanitarian law. It violates it literally every day. It doesn't respect rules of proportionality.
I'm not gonna lie, that food looked really good. The food looked so good. I was like, you see that one that looked like a pizza, yeah, with the falafel thing or something that they spread something inside spicy. There was some cream on it. That one looks so delicious. Okay, so delicious. I mean, basically what it means is that video, all right, debunks a lot of what they say about the famine in Gaza. That's basically what the lady's talking about. Okay, like, yes, of course people in Gaza should have food they should eat, but what we in the West generally think is that the whole of Gaza is destroyed. No houses, no homes, no businesses. Everyone is just in tents. Honestly, that's what we think. And this video just disproves it. All right, guys, we're about to finish this video. Let's finish it.
Rules of distinction. I think it's really dangerous for Shabbos to try to say that the genocide in Israel is somehow related to Judaism. That's certainly not good for the Jews. I think that what you're describing is an ethno-state and ethno-supremacy. I don't want a state to be given rights because of what is said in the Torah. I don't think that's fair. I don't think you'd accept that if any other leader did it. And the truth is, this is a distraction. The important thing to know is that Israel is an apartheid state. It is committing genocide as we speak. It is starving people. What the United States needs to do for its own self-interest, is cut off all...
Oh, I don't know what happened right there. Don't know what happened right there. But guys, we're back. I was confused. I was like, yo, what happened there? Okay.
The genocide in Israel is somehow related to Judaism. That's certainly not good for the Jews. I think that what you're describing is an ethno-state and ethno-supremacy. I don't want a state to be given rights because of what is said in the Torah. I don't think that's fair. I don't think you'd accept that if any other leader did it. And the truth is, this is a distraction. The important thing to know is that Israel is an apartheid state. It is committing genocide as we speak. It is starving people. What the United States needs to do for its own self-interest, is cut off all funding because it violates the Leahy Law, the Foreign Assistance Act. Also, you kept talking, Shabbos, about how popular...
Do you notice what he's doing? Do you notice how he's putting his hands up? He's not interrupting. You notice that? This lady needs to learn. He didn't interrupt her. He just put his hands up respectfully because he's got a point. And he's waiting for his turn. That is how it's done.
Supported Israel is. Actually, support for Israel is at a historic all-time low, lower than it's ever been since modern polling. And that's because they see what Israel's doing. Everyone sees it. They see the children with their arms blown off. They see the children who are getting amputations without anesthetic. And they see that Israel is also not just doing this, but celebrating. I mean, why are the IDF wearing the lingerie of the women who they ethnically cleanse? Why are they taking selfies of themselves in front of exploded universities and mosques? That is sick. And why do the majority of Israeli people actually support ethnic cleansing, not getting rid of Hamas? And also, no one mentioned the fact that Hamas has already agreed to give up political power. So if that's what this was about, then you would be negotiating. Israel has freed far more hostages through negotiation than they have through military actions. I believe the ratio is around 8 to 140. But Israel has decided that the priority is not saving hostages. It's also not defeating Hamas, because everyone knows that Hamas has grown since October 7th, not decreased. Their priority is ethnically cleansing, creating a greater Israel and killing Palestinians. That's their priority. And we know this because Netanyahu said that if, let me just finish one sentence. Netanyahu said that if the hostages were released, he still would keep launching the war. So all the talking points about how Hamas could end this tomorrow if they just released the hostages is a lie.
This woman is insufferable.
Okay, I was going to leave it there, but given, Shabbos, you've been putting your finger up to speak in a very plaintive way for the last few minutes, I'll give you 20 seconds to respond.
Well, I could have just done the Annika Speron and just yell, but I thought this was more respectful. First of all, it's astounding that I can make a reasoned argument and the response is apartheid, genocide, settler colonialism. There's a theological...
Wait, those are facts. Hysterical, emotional things.
Katie, keep quiet, keep quiet, keep quiet. Katie. Oh. I'm even tired.
It's been documented. No, don't shush me and don't make
Shush!
Stop interrupting.
Like
Stop interrupting. Stop, please. Please.
Stop!
You're lying. You're lying.
Please.
Apartheid is not a. Oh, you're not going to do the Annika Speron? Shut up. Shut up. Apartheid is not an emotion. Apartheid has been proven by every credible human rights organization. Why does B'Tselem say there's apartheid? What's their ulterior motive? Are they a cabal of self-loathing Jews? Why do they say there's apartheid?
I feel very sorry for this woman's husband if she has a husband. I feel really sorry for her children. I feel really sorry for her boyfriend. I really feel sorry for employees. I feel really sorry for people around her. I feel sorry for her family. I feel sorry for her cats, for her dogs. I feel sorry for every human being around her. Oh, poor guy.
If there's not. Why is settler colonialism?
It's remarkable
what did Jabotinsky say about Israel? He said natives always resist colonizers, and he was talking about Israel. It is a settler colonial project.
Okay.
It is a genocidal project, and that's why you can listen to former heads of Mossad who say it's genocide.
Switch off a mic.
Okay, let Shabbos finish his point, and then we're going to wrap it up.
Again,
Shabbos, you can quickly finish your point, but please be quick.
Yelling is not an effective argument. You can
just
say
told me
whatever
to shut up and you yelled yourself. Yeah.
You keep interrupting, so please stop talking.
Okay,
Here's the reality.
Please explain why it's not genocide. Why is it not genocide?
There's a theological claim that Jews have as it pertains to their attachment to the land of Israel. That does not mean that they have a right to the land of Israel. They have a right to self-determination the same way the Palestinians have a right to self-determination. I believe that there should be a Jewish state in the same way there should be a Palestinian state. The problem is...
Oh, Shabbos has been trapped in mid-flow, and I'm going to take that opportunity to bring this to an end. It seems an appropriately strange way for the debate to end with Shabbos frozen in mid-sentence. We're going to leave it there, but it was a really interesting debate.
Oh my God.
You're back. Shabbos, you were frozen in mid-flow, which I felt was
yes. Finish.
No, I'm going to leave it there. We've run out of time.
Piers, you're invited. You're coming to Israel. Me and Peter will take you. We'll try our best to get
you said that you don't want Piers let in. You tweeted out that Piers shouldn't be let in. I saw your tweet.
I've been to Israel. I actually went to Israel.
What?
I actually went to Israel in 2012 to interview Netanyahu in Jerusalem. I loved it and would very happily like to go back. But I've got to leave it there. Thank you. It was a really interesting panel to get you all debating like that. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Piers.
This woman was so annoying. She was so annoying. I was so pissed off. Oh my God. Just keep quiet. If I was Piers, I would have muted her mic. Just keep her quiet because she's disrupting the whole debate. People are debating, trying to make points, and she's just interrupting. Anyway, guys, I want to say thank you very much for joining this video. Okay, I really appreciate it. Okay, debates should be, a healthy space for people to go talk. We don't have to agree, all right, to see eye to eye in a debate. I mean, we don't have to agree or see eye to eye, but we can meet at the debate and talk like mature people, all right, like literates, and just get our points across. Sometimes we have to agree to disagree, and that's it. And there's no need to take offense at what people believe, okay? The thing is, we need to bring out the facts, put the facts side by side, and then learn from each other. Basically, that's it. Anyway, guys, one more time, thank you so much for the love and the support. Thank you for joining me on this. Yeah, the woman almost gave me a headache, and yeah, I'm glad that. Oh, okay, it's fine now. All right, guys, this is your boy Shady One and only. Thank you for joining this video. You guys have been amazing, and I hope you guys learned something. Learn something to see that no matter how different people's opinions are, it is important, you know, to have a conversation or keep trying to have a conversation, all right? Not to justify yourself, okay, but to lay the facts down, talk to people, and clear the air, okay? Let love win. Let humanity win, not hatred. All right, guys, catch your next video. Love. This is gonna be a peace out, but let me just give a shout out to everyone here. Lily, thanks for joining. Amir Cricket, thank you. Eddie Dominguez, Ari Gold, GBI Change, BB Law, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Flimsy Go, guys, please give a big thank you to Flimsy Go for all the memberships. Also, big thank you to BB Law. Thank you, Anon. I see you, Anon. Really appreciate it. SJ, SJam, love to you. Yoav, Piled, I see you. I can't pronounce this name. But love to you guys too. All right, and I'm gonna see you soon. Take care. Peace.